Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue sur Entretien Média. Dans le cadre de cette interview, nous avons l'honneur d'accueillir sur notre plateau Mme Fadimatou Noutchemo. Madame, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ok. Aujourd'hui, nous avons l'honneur de recevoir sur ce plateau une femme dont le parcours inspirant bien au-delà des frontières du Cameroun. Entre vision, audace et détermination, elle s'est imposée dans un secteur aussi exigeant que stratégie dans l'aviation. À travers son engagement et son leadership, la place des femmes, elle contribue en fait à protéger la place de la jeune femme africaine dans cette industrie. Merci d'accueillir chaleureusement Mme Noutchemo.
Merci beaucoup de me donner cette opportunité d'échanger ce matin avec vous.
Ok, c'est un plaisir pour nous en fait de vous accueillir aussi. Nous avons quelques questions concernant votre parcours, comment vous avez commencé depuis le début et tout. Ok, comment s'est passée votre enfance? Est-ce que depuis l'enfance vous avez rêvé faire dans l'aviation?
C'est une très belle question et vraiment le faire à Tchang, c'est quelque chose de bien. Parce que j'ai fait mon école primaire ici à Tchang. J'ai commencé à l'école du centre, 1 an, et ensuite je suis allée à l'école anglophone, Government Bilingual Primary School Tchang. J'ai fait toute mon école primaire. Mon rêve initial était d'être médecin, comme tout autre jeune, parce qu'en plus mon grand-père était médecin et que autour de moi il y avait des médecins. Ensuite, je suis allée faire mon internat à Fontaine et dans l'optique d'être toujours médecin. Malheureusement, quand j'ai eu mon bac et que j'ai fait le concours du CUS à l'époque, il n'y avait que cette école-là. J'ai pas réussi à l'examen, pas parce que je n'étais pas brillante, mais parce que c'était 1675 candidats et qu'il fallait 80 personnes. Et malheureusement, je n'ai pas pu être parmi les 80 personnes, malgré le fait que j'avais réussi à être parmi les 200 qui ont fait l'interview. Et donc, je suis allée à l'université en sciences de la vie, qui n'était pas ce que j'avais prévu. Et dans le cadre de mon orientation, je me suis dit, je vais refaire le concours du CUS. Et quand j'ai refait la deuxième année et que j'ai pas eu, j'avais quand même, une fois à l'université, découvert d'autres facultés, ce que je connaissais pas avant.
Ok, quel beau parcours d'enfance en fait. Ok, si vous me permettez, je peux vous poser cette question en anglais.
Yeah, of course.
Ok. What inspired you to pursue a career in aviation industry?
So I just mentioned to you, my career plan and path wasn't that smooth. So when I couldn't do medicine, I decided to change into economics, which wasn't part of my courses in school. But then I became very curious. I started trying to learn, work, do on-job trainings. So I did legal and tax. I worked for a telecommunications company. I worked for a banking company. I worked for a maritime company. And 2010, I had the opportunity to work for the national startup of our airline, Cameco. Mm-hmm. And there I discovered that that's where I actually came to realize the opportunities that are in aviation. And that when I was in school, I didn't think about any career in aviation. Yeah. Looking at aviation as being a catalyst for the economic development worldwide and Africa in particular, I realized that I had studied in Chang, I had studied in Fontaine, I had studied in Yasoso and Boya, and I never thought about aviation just because we didn't have an airport, we didn't see aircrafts. Yeah. So I decided to first create a non-profit organization called the Young African Aviation Professional Association that could create a bridge between the professionals of aviation and the youth like you. Because when I was like you, I didn't have the opportunity to have people like me coming to talk to them or to us about aviation. So this is a very interesting industry, and I decided to ensure that I will not only work for the industry, but I will spread the word so that those from underprivileged backgrounds and those in rural areas will also know that there are a lot of opportunities and put a particular focus on girls, young girls. So I've been doing that advocacy, and I've been working in aviation for 16 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
A long time, yeah. Okay. What advice will you give to the young African girls who dream of working in aviation?
So the first thing is to make them understand that aviation is not only about being a flight attendant, because many people think, oh, I want to be an air hostess. No. So as I summarize it for young people, I say aviation has all the sectors. And the advice to a young girl is for her to identify what she loves, because in aviation you have cooking, because in aircraft you have to eat well, you have dressing, even in the construction of an aircraft you have to sew the chairs. So sewing, because people look at some technical professions as being small jobs. No, everything you think about, because when you're in school you have a dream, like I had a dream. But if you don't have the opportunity to have a strong mind and have good support, like I had in my family, I got inspired by a lot of people in my family that have been successful at school and at work. So I said to myself, I have to be determined to ensure that whatever I do it well, but I should also do what I love, because work is not only about gaining money. There are a lot of challenges. So you should think of what you love, what you want to do, and then specialize in doing that. And don't believe in people who always have a word to say to discourage you, because at the end of the day you should believe in your capabilities and your determination. It doesn't matter what it is. And in aviation you have a sector. And so to a young girl today, I would say identify a mentor, someone you want to be like, reach out to the person, and then ensure that you get the right advice to develop your own career path.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. If you had to describe your mission in one sentence, yes, what would it be?
Dedication for transmission, the next generation.
To the next generation. Okay, thank you. Okay, was there a moment in your career when you wanted to give up? What kept you going on?
I want to give up every morning. Because
Seriously?
yes, because
Oh my God.
life, as we are not told before we get into the real life, every day is a challenge. It's your health, it's your family, it's the community. These are challenges, you don't plan it. And then the work environment is also something very challenging, because today you're in school and you meet people from different backgrounds, different tribes, different religions, this is what we call diversity, and we should put it as diversity and integration, so that when you come to work in an environment where people come also from the same different backgrounds, they have challenges, they have problems, the work environment is not always easy. So you come with the mind of collaboration, and then you find a colleague who doesn't want to collaborate. That discourages you, because at the end of the day you all work for the same team. So what has put me into moving on every morning is that I want to do things for myself. I want to learn more, and I've learned to have empathy and resilience. Empathy is all about not criticizing the person or the people or the environment, but trying to understand what might make them behave the way they are behaving, and just saying I have to move on with them and adapt, which is something I would advise all young people in school today to start training on it and learn to have empathy and love, because people face a lot of challenges they don't talk about. We live in an environment where we have a lot of challenges. And I remember when I was in school, my principal of late memory, Miss Jane Dube of Seed of Wisdom College Fontaine, told me, when you see someone do something bad to you, you should not just react. Try to give a reason to what has made that person behave that way. It will help you react less. And that is a lesson I've kept always. So when people hurt me, or when people do things that I don't find correct, I don't react violently. I just try to protect myself first. And then it's a work environment. At the end of the day, at 60 I won't be there, so I won't destroy my life saying I will fight for it. No. And from what I've told you, I have moved from different jobs, so sometimes you just try to move on, and not, because it's not easy for anyone, but we have to be together.
Yes. Okay. What has been your biggest failure in the professional yes.
I would say I've had a big failure, because as I said, life is made of ups and downs, and then things you plan are never the way you see them. So I don't consider the challenges I face like failures. I consider them like lessons, because when you plan something and you want it to work the way you feel it has to work, and it doesn't work the way it has to, it's a lesson you gain. So you don't fail, you learn and you readjust. As I told you, I worked through legal and tax, telecommunication, banking. If I had considered them as failures, I don't think I would have discovered this nice industry, which is aviation. And no matter what happens with aviation, I love it. And I find people inspired. I think you are also inspired already.
Yes.
So just think about if I had to consider the challenges that I had like failures, it would have broken my mind. And I'm not the kind of person you easily break down. Challenges are there to build you, make you get stronger. They are not. I don't call them failures. I call them building blocks to my success.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you see the future of aviation in Africa?
Oh, we are into it, and it's the present now, because we have the African Union that has brought up its agenda 2063. I don't know if you know about it.
Don't think not yet.
Okay, so this is a platform where I will invite all the young people who are curious about understanding Africa and what Africa has for them to type on Google for Africa Agenda 2063, which is all about the vision for Africa by Africans for the young Africans. And in this agenda, we have in 2018 launched the single African air transport market, where we want African airlines to be able to fly easily within Africa to promote mobility of people and trade. Okay. And we also have one of the agendas, which is the intercontinental free trade. Have you heard about it? Not yet. No. So I'm asking every young person to get into understanding what Africa has for us, because all the young people want to leave the continent when the continent is actually in a phase where it needs its youth to be trained to build the continent. So aviation is an industry of freedom and a catalyst for economic development. So I see the African aviation wanting young people like you to get interested, to know about the projects that are around it. We're also talking about the sustainable aviation fuels. And in the case of sustainable aviation fuels, we have a mission of having zero carbon emission in the atmosphere by 2050 to protect the environment. So these sustainable aviation fuels bring in a new type of agriculture and new type of technology where we need the young generations to be trained about. So the African aviation now gives the opportunity for all the young people who might be interested to find a place to contribute to this development. And there are lots and lots and lots of professions, careers that are around it, from technology, digitalization of the industry, artificial intelligence. So it's an industry I will invite the young people to have a look into when they have an opportunity to go on Google, to ensure that we try to make researches, and then I'll always be available when I can.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna still come back to this one. Say, okay, how do you handle doubt, whether from society, from your colleagues, or from yourself?
So, I doubt. Everybody has doubt. It's normal. If you don't doubt about yourself, it means that you are static. And I grew up with a phrase where I read somewhere, a step in the wrong direction is always better than staying on the same spot, because when you move and you realize that it was the wrong path, then you know the other path was the right one. So doubt is a guarantee that you are thinking about your self-evolution, right? So if you don't doubt, it means you are not asking yourself the right questions. Because if you ask yourself questions about your life, your path, your career, you should doubt. But how do you manage the doubt? Is by getting orientation, inspiration, and then being open. You shouldn't just sit and think, oh, that person is not within my reach, oh, that person cannot do this for me. No. One secret I should tell you is, each time I want something, even today, I make sure I try to reach out to the person. And it doesn't matter who is the person, where the person is. Yeah. If I want someone to answer a question, if I have even in my doubt, I talk to people ahead of me and I talk to people below me. Because when you doubt, it means that you are looking for an information, you are looking for an answer.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter who it is, right? It could be your mother, your sister, a friend, even a stranger. Sometimes I speak to people I don't know. I just want to know their opinion about the situation. So when I doubt about something, I talk to people around me, and from their answers, I get my answer.
Yeah.
So that's a way to move on.
Okay. When you choose to do aviation in life, do your family support you?
I would say that My family has been supportive as they don't criticize, they don't judge. You know, I'm lucky to say I come from a family where everybody is passionate about what they do. So by seeing people engage and passionate about what they do has made me grow in an environment where when you want to do something, nobody goes against. And when you reach out to someone to ask for advice, they are always giving an advice. Because support is not only financial as many people might think. Many people say, oh, I asked my uncle to pay and he did not. No, there is always a way. You know, even though I know I have family that would have supported me, I started working when I was young by volunteering. I gained a lot of knowledge, experience, and expertise by just volunteering, you know. When it's holidays, I would never stay without doing something. I'll go and help. When you help and you talk to people, you get to learn. So, and many people don't do that. Many people, young people like you today, is like, oh, what do you pay? No. Gaining knowledge and understanding how organizations work is something which is very, very important, and I find it supportive.
You said your family supports. Yes. Now, what about those people, those young people that dream of doing something in their life, but their family will say, you won't do this in my house, yes. That if you want to do it. So, donc si tu parles concrètement en moi, en ma parole, oui, tu arrêtes. Toi-même, tu quittes de ma maison en fait. Comment, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez dire à ces jeunes personnes?
Bon, je vais vous expliquer quelque chose. Dans notre société, le manque d'informations amène les gens souvent à donner des conseils pour lesquels ils n'ont même pas de réponse. Je vais prendre un exemple. J'avais voulu faire droit à l'époque parce que j'avais découvert la fiscalité, qui en fait est une branche du droit dont on n'en parle pas. Et je me souviens, j'ai un parent qui m'a dit non, tu ne dois pas faire le droit parce que il y a beaucoup d'avocats qui chôment. Je pense que c'est parce que mon parent ne connaissait que tu faisais le droit pour être avocat. Donc aujourd'hui, je pense que face à une situation pareille, si un jeune veut faire quelque chose et que sa famille le combat, il faudrait que ce jeune fasse des recherches sur les opportunités et essaye d'éduquer sa famille à comprendre que non, ce n'est pas ce que vous pensez. Voici les débouchés de ce que j'ai envie de faire. On vit dans une société de différentes générations. Ça fait en fait qu'il y a cette incompréhension. Comment est-ce qu'on peut éviter des conflits inutiles? C'est en essayant d'éduquer, d'informer ses familles. Et parfois, je conseille à des écoles comme Entretien d'organiser aussi la journée de sensibilisation des parents d'élèves. Parce qu'on a beaucoup de parents qui forcément ne sont pas allés jusqu'à un certain niveau d'études et qui ont une vision pour leur enfant. Tu dois être médecin, infirmier, policier. Ce ne sont plus les métiers de l'heure. Aujourd'hui, on a le digital. Et le digital, en fait que les parents, moi par exemple, quand j'étais à l'école, on n'avait pas l'informatique. On n'avait pas Internet. Internet a commencé dans les années 98, 99, 2000. Donc, aujourd'hui, on a l'intelligence artificielle. Oui. Donc, comment allez-vous expliquer à votre parent à Tchang que vous voulez devenir un ingénieur ou une experte en intelligence artificielle? La question qui va se poser, c'est comment tu vas finir gagner l'argent. Alors qu'aujourd'hui, avec les nouvelles technologies, vous pouvez être à Tchang, créer un bon centre, vous former, être des bons techniciens et vendre vos services à l'étranger. Oui. Donc, c'est pour ça que je dis, il faudrait qu'on organise des séances d'éducation des parents. Et moi, dans le cadre de mon association, c'est pour ça en fait que j'ai investi beaucoup dans le cadre de mon association. Je vais travailler avec votre management pour qu'on ait une branche dans votre école. Et dans le cadre de cela, on a aussi innové avec la sensibilisation des parents d'élèves. Parce que c'est important qu'on puisse aussi éduquer les parents qui envoient leurs enfants à l'école, de savoir ce qui se passe dans le monde et de savoir que leur enfant peut, sur place ou à travers des appuis, se développer dans des carrières qui ne sont pas à portée de main. Quand j'étais jeune, plus petite, on avait l'aérodrome de Tchang. Donc, j'avais mon feu oncle, le colonel Kamdoum Charles, qui atterrissait, il était pilote. Et il venait à Tchang en avion. Et quand on regarde dans les années 70, quand Khmer a ouvert au Cameroun, Tchang était une ville qui accueillait Khmer, il y avait des vols. Donc aujourd'hui, vous ne savez même pas que ça existait. Voilà. Et donc, c'est pour dire qu'il faudrait bien qu'on puisse avoir le rêve de réouvrir cet aérodrome et de pouvoir refaire les vols vers Tchang. Mais il faudrait aussi qu'on commence d'abord à sensibiliser la population de Tchang, à savoir Tchang est une ville qui a un code de l'OACI, l'Organisation internationale de l'aviation civile, et de l'IATA. Donc, si vous allez sur Google et vous mettez Tchang Aviation, vous verrez que Tchang fait partie des villes du Cameroun qui ont un aérodrome. Donc, on doit pouvoir trouver le moyen de travailler en synergie pour permettre que Tchang revive. Et à côté de Tchang, il y a Bamougoum. On a l'aéroport de Bamougoum auquel les avions de Camerco atterrissent aujourd'hui. Et pourquoi pas demain avoir beaucoup plus de vols. On avait aussi à l'ouest Koutaba. Donc, il faut qu'on puisse, à travers ce passage, on va rester en contact pour qu'on redécouvre ensemble l'aviation qui a existé dans la région de l'ouest et pour laquelle on espère va redémarrer avec cette jeunesse qui est en quête de connaissances et d'intérêt par rapport à l'aéronautique.
Yeah, okay. I guess this is the end of this interview. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Noutchemo, for sharing your inspiring journey with us. Your story is a powerful reminder that excellence has no limit. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's very meaningful because for someone who studied in Tchang and who went to Fontaine and who today has received international awards for my activities that I do, it's an honor for me to be able to share this experience, and I hope that I'll be invited to participate more in the activities that you do, because it's one Noutchemo, but I want to have many more do more than what I have done. Yeah. Because we have to open up to the world, and then the opportunities are right there. So to any young person that's listening to me and who is facing challenges and who has difficulties, I would say don't give up. You have the strength, you are alive, and be inquisitive and go to people. Once you meet, you never know who can be the person supporting you, helping you, and why not become more than who I am today. So thank you very much for having me on your platform. I encourage all of you, and I will ensure that we will reorganize more talks, and I wish you all the luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. You also remind us that the sky is only the beginning. Yeah.
In fact, the sky is the beginning, and never forget, when you're in the skies, you don't have boundaries. So when you're flying, you don't see the boundaries of countries. So I want everyone to think like the pilots, because the pilots, when they fly, they don't see boundaries. So the sky is the beginning, and there is no boundaries to your dreams.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the end of this interview. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this conversation, please, as I always say, don't forget to like, comment, share and follow. Thank you. Au micro, c'était ton Ange, à la coordination, Dr. Tafen, Monsieur Martin Alimao. Excellente journée.